Hey there, Vikings football fans. You are listening to the Purple People Podcast Live. My name is Kyle West. I am accompanied, as always, by Adam Carlson.
I'm here.
We got Kyle Smith with us.
And I don't have a name display, but I have a flag.
Yeah, I dig the flag. It's really cool.
Yeah.
hmm
We got episode number, it says 217. Not sure if that's right, but that's what we're going to go with of the Purple People
I think that's
Podcast.
right.
Sounds about right. If not, it's in the ballpark.
General vicinity.
And it's titled, There's Something About Mariota. I pronounce it Mariota. I know some people say Mariota. I don't know. I've heard it so many different ways, and honestly, I don't even care anymore. So,
If there's one thing we're good at here at the podcast, it's making up the pronunciation of names.
or saying them the way we want to.
And just pissing everyone off in the process.
I mean, I kind of get Thielen. That was one that we took a joke and ran it way too far. This is just like, I think it's just a preference of how you say it, unless you're close to the family or something. I don't know.
Adam Thielen, Adam Thielen.
Oh no.
Whoa.
On to the quick hits. Let's get started. The big news from today, of course, is that the Color Rush uniforms are released that the Vikings are going to wear against the Cowboys in December. And they aren't exactly what I expected. I expected the full-on gold with the purple letters. And that's not what we got. We actually got the exact opposite of that. We got the all purple with yellow numbers and letters instead of white. Now, a lot of fans were kind of hoping for that gold jersey, and I can get that, but I don't think this is a bad jersey at all compared to some of those other Color Rush jerseys that we've seen in the past. So I will definitely take this as a win.
If you guys remember back to earlier on when it was announced that the Vikings were going to be part of the Color Rush, I don't really think any of us were too keen on the idea at the time, but now that I've seen the photos for it, I'm actually going to admit I really like this Color Rush jersey, and I think I'm going to buy one. Like, I don't know what players will be available or if you can customize one or something, but I am a big fan of the yellow. It's the yellow trim on the side and then the yellow font and black. It's a really super cool look, and I like the shade of purple.
Available now
And
in the NFL shop.
Yeah, of course it's available now. NFL's got to get that money. I get that Color Rush money. I do like the alternative jersey designs. I've been kind of hard on like some of the college teams in the past were constantly changing up uniforms, but I would be okay if the Vikings were to have a few different designs. I would like an all black uniform. I think that would be fun, like black with purple trim or whatever. But I don't know what you guys think.
I don't like it, sir.
You should definitely pitch that. There should be like a black and white game for the uniforms. That'd be kind of cool, actually. I like the Color Rush. I was telling the guys before we started, I figured it would be just white and purple. I didn't know they were going to leave all the white out and then it would just be just purple and gold. They're not the best, but there are way uglier ones out there, and I think it's cool to see all purple. I'm not really a big fan of all gold, but you give and you take. I think they're pretty decent though. They're, like I said, they're not the worst looking ones at the NFL. Yeah.
You guys ever go on these Chinese? You guys ever go on these Chinese knockoff websites where they sell like the whatever? They just make up styles of jerseys.
No, because you should only buy jerseys from the official sources.
Well, you should check those out because you can get some really cool stuff.
No, you shouldn't.
No, you can.
No.
You can get like basketball themed Vikings jerseys.
Don't do it.
Those are really cool. I like them.
I think Adam's on board with you. What do you think?
You should always try to not circumvent situations. Buying from the NFL shop supports the teams, the players, and all that kind of stuff. So you should do it that way if you possibly can. That's what I'm saying.
Your move, Kyle.
Practice squad news. We got Trey Robertson and Julian Wilson, both cornerbacks, coming to the Vikings. Robertson was cut about a week ago in favor of Carter Bykowski. And Julian Wilson is an interesting guy. He is a cornerback who came from Oklahoma, and he got signed as an undrafted free agent by the Ravens. Ended up having a broken leg and missing the season on IR. So at this point, he's still really an unknown value. I mean, we'll have to watch and see what he can do. But at this point, he is that great unknown player, and those kind of guys are always fun because you don't know what to expect from them. There's no real tape on them in the NFL. I like guys like that. To make room for those two guys, Carter Bykowski went bye-bye again. And if you remember in the past, the Vikings have this habit of if they like too many guys, they'll shuffle them around week after week. And we are starting to see that, I think, maybe with Trey Robertson and Carter Bykowski. So maybe that's what's going to go on there. As far as Shamil Gary, the Vikings need to make sure that they have cornerbacks covered, and safeties aren't a big priority. So I don't know if we're going to see him back, but you never know.
It's a very Rick Spielman move, and I'm sure that people get tired of all the updates that we post throughout the season about the practice squad. But I think it's important to pay attention to what goes on, because you do that as a good venue for players to make the team, and we've seen players make the team from this route, from the practice squad route to the active roster to contributors, like to the team. So it's fun to keep track of. Like I said, it does get a little tiresome when you're constantly like, Carter Bykowski signed.
I'm writing an article about it every week.
Yeah, Carter Bykowski cut. Carter Bykowski signed probably in another couple weeks. Like, you can probably bet on that happening. But
Him and Brad Sorensen have the same career.
Welcome to Skull Vikes 5 and Dorian Foley, both joining us in the chat here. We got a couple other people lurking and watching us, but it's always good to have them here.
What's up, Dorian? Shout out, man.
Dorian says, I think we won a football game, if I'm not mistaken, and we will be talking about that. We will. Don't worry about that. We'll get there.
That's gonna
very soon. Very, very soon.
But the main thing right now is if something happened and you're finally able to go to the Sunday night game between the Vikings and the Packers, or really any game this season at US Bank Stadium, the local police department, the Minnesota Vikings, and everybody are telling you to be very careful when buying from secondhand sources. This should be pretty common knowledge by now that there are some awful people out there that'll try to give
Packer fans
or jack up the price to very unreasonable levels. They do have some great advice on things you can do to avoid bad situations like that. The state police have issued statements saying that you should get a picture of the person you're buying the ticket from, and if they won't let you take a picture of their driver's license, you should just move on along, because that would be a great way to make sure that the person selling you a ticket is pretty legit. They also say that if you can get the person to actually escort you to the gate, that it's worth a premium price, and that could be a little hard in today's NFL. But the bottom line here is that if you know that you want to go to the game and you have that extra money to spend, the best way to get it is through the official ticket resale on Ticketmaster. You know you're guaranteed a ticket. There are ways to make sure that you've got a guaranteed ticket. And I understand that people want to save some money, but let's be honest. If you're buying it from some guy outside of a Whole Foods and you're just not really sure what's going on, to save $15 on a ticket, it's worth the extra $15 to make sure you're going to get in the door.
Always super afraid of digital tickets, where like they put the code on your phone and then you look around and you see everyone else has like physical printed out tickets, and I'm always afraid that I'm gonna like get up there and like show them my phone and they're gonna be like, F you can't come in, what's this crap?
Right.
I've never actually had that problem, but it turns out technology is a good thing, and the digital tickets are pretty cool.
There was some reports of people scamming people on Ticketmaster. The prices on the tickets were too good to be true. And they'd send fake Ticketmaster statements to people, along with telling people to pay them in Google gift certificates or Google gift cards. And that right there should be a huge red flag to say, hey, let's not do this.
You can pay me in iPods.
Sometimes you get a little excited and you want to do what you're going to do anyway, and people did fall for it. This guy made quite a bit of money, from what I understand. And as far as I know, he hasn't been caught yet, because he used a offshore email address, I believe, as well. So quite a conundrum there. You got to be careful.
I would like to sell tickets for really unusual things. Like, I will sell you this Vikings ticket if you get me 80 copies of Speed on VHS.
Nice.
There you go. You get me 80 copies of Speed on a VHS tape, and I will give you this ticket to the
awesome.
Vikings preseason game 4. That's the trade-off.
It's true. All right, here's my favorite piece of news from the week. Down in Tennessee, a group of fans known as the Nashville Norsemen got together, and they organized a toy drive for the Children's Hospital down in Nashville. Now, this was no regular toy drive. It was the Teddies for Teddy program, honoring Teddy Bridgewater because he has to sit out the season. They had fans from both the Titans and the Vikings come and drop off these teddy bears and just have them there for the kids that were in the hospital, and they need help, and these kids need any kind of hope they can get, to be honest. And if they can get a pretty cool little teddy bear that was given to them by charity for really a great cause, it's a wonderful thing. Brightening the lives of these kids, they need it. They need it in a big way. And I'm very proud of what the Nashville Norsemen are doing. As of this moment, I don't know if they are planning more toy drives for the Teddies for Teddy program. If they are, I'll definitely make sure to share anything I can about it, because I am 100% behind this. It's a cheap way to make sure to bring some happiness into people's lives.
And I wanted to give a shout out before we get into the game review and social media question, all the fun stuff. Gotta give a quick shout out to Eric Spink, who is one of our good listeners of the show. He's usually in the chat. He's been having some health problems right now. So we wish you a speedy recovery, sir, and we look forward to talking to you again in the chat. And I hope you're listening to the show and get well soon, buddy.
Absolutely. We love you, Eric. You're a good guy.
For sure.
Yeah, shout out
Joe Berger, 1-year extension. I love it.
Well, that's right. I forgot. That did happen, too.
One of my other favorite pieces of news from the week, and it's hard to beat out an awesome charity for a children's hospital. So, Berger, you get second place.
Yeah.
Team captains named for the Minnesota Vikings for the season. I believe, I don't have them in front of me, but I am assuming it's Adrian Peterson, Chad Greenway, Everson Griffin, and Brian Robinson.
That's correct.
Let's see. Teddy Bridgewater had surgery on his knee. They said that everything went well. They went in, they corrected the problem with the ACL, as well as some other tissue work, which was kind of vague, but let's be honest, I'm not a doctor anyway, so whatever they tell me, I'll just be kind of like, good, I'm glad it's corrected.
Sure, that's what they did.
Like when that contractor is telling you all the stuff he's got to do to your house, and you're just kind of nodding. Okay. The mechanic's telling you all the stuff you'd fixed on your vehicle. Sure.
Yep.
Get it done. That's the bad part about not knowing anything about any of that stuff. But that is all the quick hits I have for this week, I believe. I don't think anything else really of major note happened.
Tommy Gunn says, rest in peace, RG3.
Oh, poor RG3.
Oh,
it's sad because I was actually kind of looking forward to seeing what he would do this year. But
there was a lot of promise in the preseason.
Well, think about it this way. I believe it is the same offensive coordinator in Cleveland that had RG3 running all over the place that he had in Washington when he got hurt, just scrambling around like an idiot. When are people going to realize that this running around in the NFL is just not a good idea? I mean, even we saw some of these hits that Cam Newton, Blaine Gabbert, all these guys are taking at quarterback. Some of them during passes, some of them during scrambles. It's a pretty dangerous time to be a quarterback, especially when you're putting yourself in bad positions.
I think the worst part about this is it's a great time to be a super athlete. Like, look at Cam Newton. I mean, he's a freak like AP. And they're a defensive end playing quarterback. But these guys stay in the pocket, and at a last resort when they need to use their athleticism, they do. But when you rely on that, at least I would say if you rely on that even 40% of the time rather than 75% of the time staying in the pocket, you're going to get injured. And that's the worst part. And I hate to compare the two because I think RG3 is better. But look at Ponder, especially the last year he was with us. The last time he played a game, we played the Redskins. He got knocked out and threw his shoulder out of place because he wanted to be athletic, you know? You got to stay in the pocket and step up. And, you know, I'd rather risk taking a shot there than running around getting my head knocked off.
Absolutely. All right, let's head into the game review. Game Ball Donkeys, who wants to kick this thing off?
I'll go first. If you guys live under a rock and for whatever reason you only rely on us for your news, the Vikings won 25-16 against Tennessee on the road.
Yeah.
And my game ball is pretty simple. We avoided a poop show like last year on the road. This wasn't in prime time, so it was a little better if you watched the game, but the first half was not. We didn't play well at all, especially on defense. Offense, we'll do the review in a second, but I want to give my game ball to Mike Zimmer. We hadn't scored anything at the half. The momentum was all in Tennessee's favor. I forget the words that Tennessee is, exotic smash mouth football or some weird stupid crap like that. Mariota was running around, like a madman because he's an athlete, and they were trying to cover up some crazy plays for him. But Mike Zimmer, whatever he did, and this is one of those times where I always say I wish I was a fly on the wall. I would love to hear what he did at the half, because whatever he did adjustment-wise was amazing. We didn't score any offensive points at all. All field goals, extra points, and defensive scores. So whatever he said to the team, you get my shout-out. That's a coach of a coach right there. And I'm really, really stoked defensively for what they showed us in the second half Sunday.
Very nice. I guess I'll take up next. You guys are all quiet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was typing in the chat and had my microphone on mute, because that's usually how my my luck works out.
Yeah, it's true. Your keyboard sounds like an atomic bomb going off every time you hit a key.
It's because my microphone is literally like that far above my keyboard.
But my game ball is going to go to Eric Kendricks. I've been a big fan of Kendricks. I love his athleticism. I love his speed. I love his footwork. I love his ability to drop back into coverage. He showed something this week that veterans do in the NFL. He recognized a play, and he played back off of it enough to where the quarterback was able to read it and know where his drop-off was, and he was able to get in there. Major props to Everson Griffin for the interception on the play, because he got right into Mariota's face.
Yes.
And just made that play incredibly hard. But when you add in the other stats that Kendricks had, he had 6 tackles, one of them for a loss, defended a pass, which was the interception, returned it for a touchdown, 77 yards. This play really helped to turn around the game. You can debate whether it's the interception return for a touchdown that set the major tone, or whether it was Cordero Patterson's kick return. You could debate either one of those. But either way, the Minnesota Vikings found a great way to take a couple of big plays and just turn that game absolutely around.
Mm-hmm. I like that you gave Everson the shout-out. Everson was playing a hell of a game, even though he didn't have anything flashy like Danielle Hunter or Eric Kendricks, because, like Adam said, if you guys didn't see the Kendricks pick, you can focus on him because it was a 77-yard return. You got a lot of time to watch him. But watch Everson scare the life out of Marcus Mariota, and he throws it directly to Eric Kendricks, so it's pretty funny.
Yeah, he expected his drop-off to be wide open. Kendricks, I believe, was supposed to drop back on that play, recognized it because they got burnt on it with Henry in the past, and he just played that so well.
It was amazing.
Game ball, Mr. West.
Game ball, I'm going to give mine to Sean Hill for the week, because we are looking at which Adrian Peterson only had 31 yards rushing on the ground. And that means we need the rest of the offense to play smart. That doesn't necessarily mean going out there and, lighting it up, putting up big fantasy numbers. Not worried about that. What Sean Hill was able to do is he was able to pass for 236 yards, move the ball, no turnovers. That was really important. There was a couple throws that were, he overthrew Diggs that should have been for a touchdown. I believe Teddy would have made that. But this is all, timing. I felt like it was a very, kind of pared down offense of what they asked him to do. They asked him to manage the game, and that is exactly what he did. So I'm going to give my game ball to Sean Hill for, doing what the Vikings needed and for not screwing the game up for us.
There's absolutely no way I would give a game ball to any offensive player in this game. Sorry, man.
Not even Stephon Diggs? I'm really surprised nobody picked him. He balled out.
No, he had a good game, but the defensive performances, I'm surprised Danielle Hunter didn't get a ball. Xavier Rhodes being out caused Trey Waynes to get in the spotlight. Waynes led the team with 10 tackles, was all over the field. I believe he only got burnt, I believe, 2 times in the whole game. And, of course, both those times, Twitter was right on his case.
Of course. Keyboard Warriors.
You gotta love Twitter.
That's what Twitter does best.
But there's absolutely no way that I would have given the ball to an offensive player, even though Stephon Diggs had a very, very good game. It wouldn't have happened.
I thought Sean Hill did fine. I mean, you're looking at a guy who probably has...
You're giving him a game ball for not turning the ball over.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, he didn't go out there and he didn't screw the game up for us. So you give him a game ball for that. I think that's important because we've had so many games in the past where you have Christian Ponder that, gives us 2-3 turnovers and you just lose momentum. Well, they were able to go out there and they were able to allow the defense to win the game for us and not fudge it up for us on offense. And yeah, you see, it's my game ball.
Hey, it's your choice, I tell you. All right, Mr. Smith, Donkey.
Okay, this was hard because I want to so bad, but I realized the playoff game, you can't poop on Blair because he's so bipolar. I mean, somebody needs to seriously sit him down and stroke his ego to get his confidence back up. I really want to give it to Blair, but I'm going to give it to the O-line in the run blocking because, yes, AP, I believe he should be played in preseason. He needs to get the kinks out and needs to knock a little bit of the rust off. I know everybody's scared of injury, but I don't like it. Yes, I will put half of the blame on Adrian Peterson for not being patient and trying to make better, cuts. But the other half, the run blocking was not good. He was met in the backfield a lot. Now, the contrary to that, the pass protection was pretty damn good. So Sean Hill didn't get sacked. He was hurt a little bit, but we got the best back in football, man. You guys got to give him a little bit more help there. So I'm going to give it to the run blocking from the O-line. And Andre Smith was playing, which I don't know where's T.J. Clemmings playing at? 'Cause I didn't see where he was at.
I am actually going to go with Adrian Peterson for mine because you can't build a team around a player. You can't bring in all these run blocking specialists. That right side of the line was built for run blocking. You've got a center, Joe Berger, who's just absolutely strong when it comes to that. The right guard there, he's swapping back over from left to be a run blocker. Instead of getting a better pass protector, they go out and they get Andre Smith on the right side to be a run blocker. And I understand. I even said last week, I don't believe it was during the game because I don't think we even did a preview for this game very well enough. But they are not a bad run defense team. And they were committing everything they had to stopping the run, everything. And which is why Sean Hill had so many opportunities in the pass game, is because the Titans were taking away the run. That said, there were times when Adrian Peterson looked like he had no idea what to do. He missed a gap a couple of times. He hopped around like the Easter Bunny in the backfield. I just struggle watching a guy who I know is getting paid so much and is the centerpiece of this offense and seeing stats like 1.6 yards per carry.
Yeah, credit to Tennessee's defense for holding us down and not scoring offensively. Like you said, I couldn't have said it any better. They game planned twice. They did it once and then they redid it just to make sure AP wasn't going to have a game, and they did that great. But I think that's what a lot of people. Oh my gosh, let's have a tiny rant today. So Stephen A. Smith was going off about Sean Hill, saying the Vikings need to play Sam Bradford immediately, and
Hill did fine.
He's like, you want to trust Sean Hill, and I wish I had the ability to have that secret number that you can call in, the real hotline you call in. I'm like, did you watch this game at all? The 36-year-old had over 200 yards and he didn't throw a pick. Like,
yeah,
you have to give him credit.
So no points, no execution in the red zone,
no turnovers, and he's old. Backups are not supposed to go in there and
see. You're saying backups. That proves that he is a backup, and not only is he a backup, but he's a streaky backup. You can't count on a streaky backup to come in and play at a high level on a regular basis.
No, you don't want to count on it, but you have to because that's all we have, and he's the starter. I think he did fine.
He did fine.
He did exactly what he asked to do, and I'm not praising him up like, oh, we should keep Sean Hill the rest of the year. Sam Bradford's going to play on this team majority of this season. I understand that. And I'm totally cool with it. But with everything that was going on, especially the first half, I was like, this is the San Francisco game again. Holy crap. But, hey, man, he made a lot of throws. And he threw a lot. What did he throw, 33 times?
He had to. They were playing the run.
Not terrible from him. His completion percentage was a little bit garbage. But, hey, I mean, look at the numbers. And I love that he spread the ball around.
When there's 9 or 10 down on the line of scrimmage, that completion percentage should be high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I did like the way he spread the ball around, though. I'll give him that, and then we can shift and go to everyone else. But Rudy got some catches. Thielen got some catches. Stephon had like 7.
CPAT had a nice catch.
Yeah, not bad. And he had a pretty decent return, too.
Yeah.
Not bad.
We still got one more donkey, right? We got Mr. West.
Yep, I'm going to brag on Blair Walsh. Blair, why do you do this to us? You're a better kicker than this, Blair. You were a better kicker than this. Why are you? We had talked about this in the chat, Adam. When a kicker misses and it misses by that much on the outside of a goalpost, okay, I get it. That happens. That's like part of the game. When you're way off that way and it's not even close, I don't know what's going on, and that's just not. And twice too, like they call the timeout, and it goes like woo, like way off that way, and he gets another shot, and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, like he's gonna correct this, and he does the same thing where he hooks it just, phew, and you can make up excuses about, Jeff Locke. Holds and whatever, but it comes down to Blair's the one kicking it, and like he's got to be more reliable than that. And I know he can be more reliable than that because we've seen him make some outstanding kicks and be an excellent kicker for the team. And so I just don't know. I don't know why he's so up and down recently. You should be able to rely on your kicker. And right now, I don't feel like you can rely on Blair Walsh, even though he's the only guy putting up points on offense for us right now.
See, the Vikings kind of made the RG3 mistake with Blair Walsh. Uh-huh. They did. They saw an early performance that was really good. His rookie year, so fantastic. You thought this guy was going to be just the anchor for the kicker. You could count on him to come in and kick so well. So they locked him down to a big deal. I believe it was the second highest for a kicker at the time, second highest contract. Mm-hmm. And he has certainly not played up to that.
It stinks, too, because he's so wishy-washy. Because, the second part of the game, the whole team, rather, well, not the offense, but the rest of the team kind of came back and they showed what they were supposed to be, what the hype was. But you're right, and if you keep this up, I mean, they're going to bring competition in. There's no doubt about it. This happens all season. I'm hoping it isn't. And just me personally, and this is the work side coming out of me. This is what my working force is. But I guess the positive is this wasn't a playoff game, so that's good. Maybe he'll get all the crappiness out of the way and he'll turn it up as the year goes on. But, God, he's like bipolar is the word. Bipolar Walsh, for sure.
And don't get me wrong, Walsh came through and he had some nice kicks later on in the game. He connected for some deep kicks, put points on the board when the Vikings couldn't execute offensively to get in anywhere even near the goal line. Mm-hmm. When the offense stinks that bad, you have to rely on your kicker, your defense, and your special teams.
That's
and
also
you still end up scoring so well, so good.
You wouldn't have to be there in that position.
Yeah, it's a bad position to be in. It really is. This offense needs to get its act together, get at least in the red zone. I don't even know how many red zone opportunities they had this game. Was it 1 or 2?
I don't remember.
I barely remember them getting in the red zone.
And you know what? The most disappointing, and trust me, I'm excited that we won. It was a fun-ish game. A little disappointed in how they performed. But not having Teddy out there, you just feel already like, man, this is just missed opportunity. Even though we won the game, you can't help but feel like if Teddy was playing, we'd have fucking, pardon my language, but we'd have steamrolled the Titans if Teddy would have been out there because the offense would have been clicking. He would have been hitting digs like on that pass for a touchdown, there would have been more. There would have been more to it. I really feel like that we could have got going, and without having such a vital part of the offense out there, it's hurting the team a little bit. And I know that they can play defense and they can do other things to win the game, and they'll get Bradford on, and it'll be fine in the long term. But man, I just wish Teddy was out here.
Sean Hill struggled to stretch the field. They couldn't run the ball to get in any kind of position. The offense overall, not good. Taking a look at the stats, 18 for 33, Sean Hill, 236. Average rating across the board, pretty much despite having that stacked line against the run. Then you got the run game itself, where Matt Asiata was probably the star aside from the 8-yard Cordero Patterson run, which it's good that we're seeing him get involved. I want to see him more as a part of the regular offense so that when they do some trick plays like this, they'll work.
God, at this point, I just want to see him put into Mike Wallace mode, and they say, pick a side and run straight. Outrun your defender and go. Like, if that's all you did, just do it. At this point, that's what I'd be okay with.
But let's talk about the best part of the game by far. The Sean Hill scramble.
Oh,
9-yard scramble that felt like you were watching in slow motion. I mean, I am not a fast runner by any means, but I'm watching this and I'm like, really?
And he juked a guy. That was the best part. You are getting your ass chewed, whoever that safety or corner was that missed him, because it's 36. He probably runs like a 5'1". I don't know, but that was hilarious.
It was so much fun to watch.
It was such a slow juke. That's why it worked.
Matt Asiata came out and had a good performance, though, on his 4 carries, 13 yards, 3.3 a carry. Asiata just lowered his shoulder, going north and south, plowing through. That's kind of what you need against a situation like this. Even though the Titans, they have built their team to stop the run. They are built that way. If you're going to beat the Titans, you're going to beat them through the air. And Sean Hill couldn't finish drives. There's no use speculating as to whether or not Sam Bradford would have, because he didn't play.
You're just guessing. We did wonder, though, whether or not, because it does feel like that they didn't ask Sean Hill to do a whole heck of a lot, which is smart. It makes sense.
Right.
But what exactly, other than being comfortable within the system? You made an excellent point, Adam, is what are they asking Sean Hill to do that Sam Bradford would not have been comfortable doing within that game plan?
I'm not sure.
It's not that. I hate to jump in, but it's not that. It's already
jump right in.
Comfortable enough to call out and say, I need different pass protection. They're about to annihilate me. That's it.
You think that's what it comes down to?
Yes, 100%. And I would put my paycheck on that. It's how fast can you change stuff at the line of scrimmage and be comfortable. The dude's this is his 4th system in like 5 or 6 years. He can learn a new offense. I'm not saying that he learned all of them when he was in Philly and St. Louis and he was amazing at them. This isn't new territory for this guy. And you know what the best part was? The Vikings got him and said, we're going to let you start. In Philly, that dude wasn't happy. They went out. He held out, for God's sake. He went out there and he was saying, I'm not going to play for you because you drafted a guy who's going to replace me. It's crap. Over here, he's like, this is the definition of a restart, refresh, because everybody here is like, oh, God, you're better than Sean Hill. We love you. And in Philly, everybody's like, well, when are you going to get hurt so Carson Wentz can play? I think it's all
Wentz had a good game, though, too, so I can see where Philly fans would be happy.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's all about him learning how to change up the protection when he gets up there. That's it. And hold on, while we're on the subject, we might as well ask it, and this is my question for everybody in the chat, too. What percentage from 1 to 100 does Sam Bradford start Sunday night? I'm saying 95% he starts Sunday.
It's as long as he's got that terminology down to make calls at the line. I believe that's what it is. I think that he knows the routes, he knows timing, he can work with everybody. I do believe that this was all. You want to say learning the offense, but really it's learning how to communicate without giving everything away at the line.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Percentage chance he starts on Sunday?
I 80%, but I'm just making something up. I'd say about 80. I don't know.
I'll say 75%. I'm pretty sure he will, but there's always that chance that
I
he'll say he's still not ready. I'd love to see him make his debut in there.
honestly, I might go.
Yeah, US Bank Stadium, see home opener. Just this is a game that they need to win this game. They need to put the best team out there. Our class says 100% in the chat. Tommy Gunn says 50, 75% of Hill is getting creamed. Getting creamed during practice. Okay.
Getting creamed
I don't
corn.
know. I'm not sure. Whipped cream. Oh, that makes me think of Varsity Blues, and that's good stuff in my head.
Oh my gosh, yes. I want pancakes now.
But off that, Dorian Foley says 100%. So we got some pretty confident guys here, aside from Tommy Gunn, who thinks it's a coin flip.
That's the thing. I can see it going either way, but I think if the home opener was against anyone but Green Bay, and obviously it's going to be primetime, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? If it was anyone else, I think they would be a little more hesitant. But, man, I would, like I said, fly on the wall. I'd love to be in those meetings like, how much did you learn today? Because we kind of need you.
Okay, guys, let's pause for a minute here. Timeout. I'm going to call timeout. You got to remember on things like this, it's not what I think the Vikings are going to do. It's what I think Mike Zimmer is going to do. And what I think Mike Zimmer is going to do is probably stick with Shaun Hill to start the game unless it gets, like, awful by halftime and then make a switch.
I think Mike Zimmer's going to say absolutely nothing about who the starter is, even though the reporters have been hounding him already.
Yeah.
I wish
there
there
be no word
on that. It's so annoying. Yeah, that's the time when I was a coach. If I was him, I would just come up and say, if you ask me anything about the starter, I'm literally going to look at you and then go to the next person. Just don't. I'm not going to tell you.
There is no advantage to it.
Why would
you hurt us if he says
whoever this is leaking stuff to Ian Rappaport about who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings, stop, please.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hey,
that was an organizational thing.
I have another question for all you guys in the chat, and I wonder if you can see it this way. You guys too, obviously. So the offense didn't click Sunday at all. If the defense stays somewhat close to that, maybe not 2 turnovers every game or 2 defensive scores, maybe a turnover, maybe a defensive score every game, and the offense starts clicking, how scary could this team be? And that's with Shaun Hill the other day. I know we were playing the Titans, but you're opening up the season on the road, and they're just making Adrian Peterson look terrible. So can you imagine that? That's the only thing that I took away as a big positive the other day. It's like everybody's going to hate on us because we didn't score offensively. We put up 25 points, and we didn't get to the red zone. If we start figuring that out, that could be close to what Pittsburgh was doing last night. That's pretty good.
Hey, I got 2 points from Adrian Peterson in my fantasy league. Tom Brady's still out. Gronk was injured, and I still won. Yes.
I did win. I did win this week, and shout out to my fantasy league or fantasy team. Show me your teddies.
Mine's Gronky Kong Country.
Oh, nice.
But I'll answer your question here really quick. We're a playoff team. We've always been a playoff team, and it hurts that we don't have Teddy. But we're still, we have a really stout defense here in Minnesota, and it's only 1 game. Okay, Mike Zimmer is going to look at this tape, and they're going to coach everything up, and they're going to come up with an even better game plan as the season goes on. Same for the offense. They got lots of really smart people running that offense. Like, they're going to get it figured out. Timing is going to get better between Shaun Hill or Sam Bradford and your receivers, and that's going to open more things up. And we are a playoff team, and we can be really dangerous as the season goes on.
I think with
our class and Dorian Foley together make one great point in the chat.
What's that?
The team made a big decision to bring in Sam Bradford with that first-round pick, and Adrian Peterson should be able to pick things up this next week against the Packers and be able to run. If Sam Bradford is in there, he'll be able to take advantage of that with some long passes. And it should be something that could be very scary indeed. If this team can start putting up some points on offense, combined with that defense, like Tommy Gunn says, 2013 Seahawks, 2015 Broncos defense is good.
Hey guys, here's a question to Christian ponder. If Peterson doesn't get it done against the Packers, and then he has another bad week, and he has another bad week, what are the chances that they try to trade him before the Week 6 deadline?
There's no chance.
No.
Nobody, and it's not because I don't
Yep.
think they wouldn't consider it. And God knows the media is going to swarm in and be like, "Oh, we finally found Adrian Peterson's wall. He hit 30, blah blah blah." Nobody's going to pay that dude $12 million. We're the only team that was going to do that.
I've been saying trade Peterson for 2 years now.
Right there with you. It didn't happen, guys. We are stuck with that guy, so you better learn to love him somehow. And pray he has a season like he's been having, up his whole career. But I don't, like you guys said, I don't think that's it, and I don't think that's going to be an issue.
I don't think he's going anywhere, and I also think he'll get it figured out. Like, first game for him, whatever. We all know he needs to be playing in the pre.
He got stuff.
He needs to be.
Let's go.
Yeah, the Browns.
Defenses aren't going to be able to stack the defense. They can't stack like that with Sam Bradford in there. Bradford can just throw it up to Diggs, and Diggs can just run deep.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, and that's what I said last week on the show, or maybe 2 shows ago. With Sam Bradford coming in, there's 2 things that him and Teddy swapped on. Bradford's not as athletic, in my opinion, and you can see it in his build. He's not a huge, muscular dude. He's not that, but he is athletic. Teddy's more athletic than him, meaning in my book, he's more mobile and faster. Teddy can get you those crazy yards and juke people like he did in the preseason and like he's been doing the last 2 years. Sam Bradford can't do that. Everybody bitches and complains about Teddy not throwing the deep ball. That's what you're going to get with Sam Bradford. I'm not saying he's going to chuck it 50 times for 40 yards every throw, but everybody wants a deep ball. You got a guy that can throw the deep ball. Look at his highlights. He can get it done. He's done it a lot.
Bradford last year set franchise records for the Eagles. Completion percentage, total completions. This is a guy that, when healthy, can get it done.
Yep.
And let's face it, the Eagles, their offensive line, their run game last year, that was all garbage.
Trash.
Just garbage. Real bad. Keeping going down the stat line, even though we got a little off course here. We talked about Stephon Diggs, 7 catches, 103 yards, averaging 14.7 yards per catch. Long 33, 9 targets. Kyle Rudolph only caught half the balls thrown at him. 4 catches, 55 yards.
I like the way you said that. Jeez, Adam.
What?
They pulled no punches.
I hate that for him too. That's going to look bad on his stat sheet, but man, he had one of those caught and he just got lit up and had no catch it. He took some shots, man, but I'm glad to see. He
dropped some he shouldn't have, and he caught some he shouldn't have, so it kind of balances out a bit.
This is true. Glad to see Rudy getting involved, though, man. I was starting to wonder if that dude was going to be worth the money we gave him.
Now, let's take a second to talk about Charles Johnson. With all the hype from him this preseason, talking about how this could be a comeback year again for him, he comes out, he's targeted 6 passes, catches 1 of them, and he didn't quite look like he was going 100% out there, and I don't think that's his fault. I'm just not sure that he physically is at that 100% mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was. I actually told when the game started, they're not going to listen to the show, but shout out to the guys here at ESPN and the local radio show. I got to hang out with them the whole game Sunday, and they said, hey, I picked up Stephon Diggs, and I looked like an idiot at the bar when the game was over. I was like, he was good with Teddy. They had good rapport, but Teddy had this thing with Charles Johnson. He was really good in the preseason. You can pick up Charles Johnson. And then Stephon Diggs has a career game. So, of course. Yeah, Charles.
I don't play fantasy football.
That's how it works.
Charles Johnson,
rolling the dice.
Selling himself. I think that's the only thing holding him back. I don't think it's because he couldn't get open. I don't, like you said, injury might be there that isn't fully healed.
Tommy Gunn says that he's not a contested catch wide receiver. He made some pretty good contested catches in the past, but overall, I'd say that he is more challenged mentally by catching balls on traffic than he should be.
Hey guys, remember the wide receiver we drafted in the first round?
Oh God, you're going to start.
Troy Williamson.
Where's his stats?
Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin retired, man. He hasn't been with the team for a while.
Anyone else a little disappointed with this first round pick, even though it's only been 1 game?
Nope.
And we shouldn't be so judgmental, but no catch.
Not disappointed at all. Everybody said Trey Wayne sucked last year, and look at him now.
I have no problem with sitting him till he's ready. I will love when he's available as a red zone threat. That will be a great, great thing because we saw a little bit of a glimpse of that in the preseason, that 2-point conversion. but I want to see more of that, and I am impatient. I want to see it, but I also want him to grow and develop right.
Just get him on the field. He's a receiver. Just get on the field.
Yeah, but you can say that about a lot of guys, including Bobo, who we didn't see all preseason and somehow ended up on the practice squad.
That's different. He was playing like high school football in Germany. That don't count.
Shout out to all you loyal, awesome, smart fans who said that we should get rid of Thielen and keep Bobo. Yeah, all those athletic catches Adam Thielen was making the other day.
There was a big movement for that on Twitter too. It was unbelievable.
God, you guys are so wishy-washy.
I understand loving the story, loving the guy's character, all that kind of stuff, but gotta kind of be a little realistic about it there.
There's a reason why Zimmer said no. He's going to practice squad. Thielen made some awesome catches the other day too. Underrated is not even how to describe him. I love him. I'm glad he's on team.
So the defense had a fantastic game. Offense struggled. Overall, this is not really the kind of game you want to put forth in a first effort, but now Green Bay is going to be watching that tape on offense and just kind of like cringing the whole time. But let's hope they kind of try to copy that a little bit. If they stack the box the same way, the Vikings will have to beat them through the air. And again, I know the Packers have some talented players in the secondary, but their coverage skills aren't what they used to be. And with a guy like Stephon Diggs back there who just keeps emerging, it could be a really good game.
Speaking of the Packers, this is the first time I think, and I'll be the first one on the little PPP page right now to say I'm going to stop and I'm going to take 3 steps backwards. Not 1, not 2, but 3 steps back from what we used to say about Jacksonville. Jacksonville is going to compete now. It's crazy. I watched that game. It was right beside the TV where I was. They held Green Bay to a close game. So I'm really excited to see what they did to challenge Green Bay. Obviously, Zimmer's going to prepare, but, man, I was really excited to see how close that was because I was expecting Green Bay to go down there and light Jacksonville up, and they snuck out with a win. Mm-hmm. And caveat to that, Mike Zimmer said earlier this weekend in presser, I think it was yesterday, somebody said, what do you think about the rivalry with Green Bay? And he made the best, most Mike Zimmer answer of all. He goes, when we start winning more, then you can call it a rivalry.
It's true.
It's one of the best quotes he said in a long time, maybe even the whole time he's been here. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I have nothing but love for that guy, and he made it pretty clear. We got to start dominating. By the way, I forgot to say this earlier. Kyle, you said we're still a playoff team. I totally agree. I think with Teddy leaving, I had the team at 11-5. I think with Teddy leaving, we drop off. I think with Teddy in the race and being fully healthy, we contended for the division to repeat. I think now we sneak in as a wild card. But I have us losing 1 game more than I had. So I'm going to put us back at 10-6. I just want to throw that out there.
Since you're touching on it, we might as well do the social media question. How much does Teddy Bridgewater's injury affect the Minnesota Vikings playoff chances? John Dostal says if old man Peyton Manning can win a Super Bowl while struggling passing the ball over 10 yards, I think we'll do just fine if our defense can play as good as last year.
That is an amazing answer.
Vegas odds Super Bowl win for the Vikings started at 20-1 in April, climbed to 16-1 after training camp, went back down to 20-1 after Bradford was traded, so not that much. I agree with Vegas as much as I love Teddy. It won't make the odds much different. Temple Dog Soren Norgard says 3%. Don't ask me how I got to that number.
At least he's honest. I like that.
Danny Yang says we don't know, but we have Bradford for his spot. We do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If Bradford stays fit, not a lot. Okay. Thomas Buge says, I think a lot. Offense is stagnant without him. I'm nervous about Bradford starting. I don't want another Freeman incident. I think that people are really worried about the mental state of Sam Bradford being able to pick up the Vikings offense. And I don't think that should really be a problem that people should focus on too much. Sam Bradford is an intellectual quarterback. He'll be able to come in and pick up on a lot of this. Yes, he wasn't able to step in week 1 after very short notice. But I think that this isn't really something that should be a big worry there. Dal Steitenbach says, I miss Teddy. I love him. But next man up, I think, will be just fine, and our defense will make up for it. And over in the chat, Tommy Gunn says that Packers week equals hate week. And I want to touch on that a little bit because I am probably the one Vikings fan on the earth that doesn't hate the Packers. I don't hate them. I've got a lot of friends that like the Packers. I don't really hate any other team except the Saints very much. The Rams are getting there. But
it's not that hold on really quick. It's not that I dislike the Rams players. I think they've got like Todd Gurley. He's a good player. The Rams coaching staff, Jeff Fisher and what was their defensive coordinator?
Greg Williams.
F those guys.
Exactly. But I've always been on the side to say, okay, I'm not gonna. If the Vikings have any trouble with anybody, it's the Vikings. I'm rooting for the Vikings. I'm not sure if the other NFC teams lose. That's cool. Big thumbs up. But if the Vikings want to win, they have to, absolutely have to win games no matter who they play against.
Yes.
Whether it's the Packers, Lions, Saints, Browns, Jets, whoever.
And I had to eat my words from this last year. I was like, man, I hope you lose against Green Bay so we can play Washington. And no. Go in there. And that's what I did when I crapped all over the Green Bay fans. Were like, how'd you do in the playoffs? I'm like, you beat the 9-7 Redskins that had no business being there. None. So, no, I totally agree with you. And I'll call myself out for that. You have to beat the best teams. And we were close last year. But,
and let's be honest, having that measuring stick of the Green Bay Packers, they have a long history of success. They are what kind of the Vikings are striving to be. They want to be able to have that tradition of success. When people hear the Minnesota Vikings, they want people to think winners. That's what they want. And the Vikings, I believe, can get to that point with this coaching staff, with these talented young players. It's going to happen. And I'm jealous of the Packers because of what they have accomplished in the past, of course. But I do think the Vikings are going to get there. And that is why I'm a Vikings fan.
Hey, I just thought of something. I know why the Vikings didn't go all yellow color rush jerseys. Too close to the Packers' yellow jerseys.
That's what John Johns was saying.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense now that I think about it. I'm like, duh, I don't want the Vikings to wear an all yellow color rush jersey. Give me the all purple.
Very true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Adam was saying.
That's my hot social media question. We're going to keep talking about should the Vikings fans be worried about Adrian Peterson's production on the field? I know we're going to get a lot of answers regarding the offensive line situation and quarterback threatening.
You guys, this is stupid. What kind of question is this?
Yeah, you're going to get that from everybody, though, if they don't have the imagination or the desire to really even think about situations like this. And, yeah, there is a problem at running back. Running the ball right now is a major problem. Whether it's Adrian Peterson, Jerick McKinnon, who was unavailable last week, I believe. They're going to have to find a way to move the ball on the ground. Whether it's going to be with Sean Hill or Sam Bradford, no matter who it is, it has to happen. Got to happen.
Well,
I lost everyone for a second there, but you just weren't talking.
No, yeah, I was trying to transition to that. I had something earlier, but I wanted to let you get that in there. No, yeah, if all else fails, we'll just put Zach Line and Matt Asiata in. It'll be fine.
Double bowling balls, get it done.
Yes, just plowing through.
Guys, head on over to the Yahoo Survival League. Make sure you're getting your picks in every week. Everybody that's in there is already locked in place. Nobody else can hop on in. We got some cool Vikings prizes going on. We already have, I believe, almost 25% of the people getting their first strike this week. Survival leagues are hard, man. That's why we gave you 3 strikes. It's going to be fun throughout the season. Hopefully we can get you guys some cool Viking stuff and have some fun in the process. So make your picks. You don't want to get a big red X because you're not making your picks. Make your picks.
Make them. Do it. Do it, you slackers.
Make those picks. And Kyle West usually does this at the beginning of the show, but we want to remind you guys that if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. We're trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber thing so that we can go and use YouTube Live instead of Google Hangouts, we'll be able to do so much more cool things. We'll be able to have some intro stuff and some backgrounds and some cool graphics and all kinds of neat stuff. So we are trying to improve the podcast, but we do need your help to get this done.
Yeah, I really want to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. It'd be a fun goal for this season for us, is to get 1,000 people like us on YouTube.
Our class in the chat says Peterson will be fine against Green Bay. Don't forget, he has always seemed to bring his most memorable games against them. And I got a car alarm going off in my parking lot.
I hear that. Someone's playing Grand Theft Auto in real life.
Yeah, AP's had some good games against Green Bay. I think he'll get it figured out. You guys can refer to last year. He looked like crap the first game, and then I think we played San Diego second week last, and he had a top 10 highlight the next week. So give him time.
For sure.
All right, car alarm is done. You guys are not very good at stalling for time, I tell you that.
Well,
no,
I didn't.
Not at all.
I thought everybody was kind of just hanging out there. I didn't hear it anymore.
I had a car alarm going off. You guys knew that.
Yeah, no, I heard it, but I heard it to begin with. I didn't hear it anymore after that. I thought it was.
I muted my mic till it was done.
Oh, touche.
Classy, you know.
We're professionals.
Yeah, we are professionals. See the Viking?
Yeah.
I got a flag.
That's how you know.
Finally.
That, I believe, is all I have for this week. I wanted to end on one little note. I had a nice comment on last week's show on the YouTube channel regarding my work on the Viking Age, about how the site and other Vikings blogs can use the power of negativity and positivity in order to paint a picture of the team and create a good atmosphere for fans. Now, if you read my work on the Viking Age, I think you'll find it to be relatively very much on the positive side. I try to look on the bright side of things. I like to do articles about charity work. I like writing articles about the coach talking about the team. But there is a place for criticism in blogs. I do believe that both sides of stories should be told. If there's concern over a player or situation, it should be addressed. But there are topics that I would completely avoid. For example, let's say Adrian Peterson decides to take a knee during the national anthem next week. Just using it as an example, I would refuse to write a story about that. I would not touch that story because I want to keep myself on the positive side of things, and I would not have. I don't think that kind of controversy is really applicable on a Vikings fan site. However, I am just one voice on the site. I'm one voice on this podcast. Just whether or not I try to keep things positive all the time, that's not always completely up to me. But I do believe that both sides of the coin do need to be heard sometimes. And if I believe that Cordero Patterson shouldn't make the roster next year, which he's making a case for me to change my mind, that's for sure, then that's my opinion. And I think you should respect my opinion. And I do also believe that you can be critical of a team, a player, a game, a movie, a television show, whatever it is, and still absolutely love it. And I think that's part of the passion of being a fan, is seeing these things from your team and wanting them to be better in certain aspects, and just kind of trying to pick apart a little bit of how it can be that way. And I don't want that to be seen as me being overly negative, but I do think that fans deserve to hear both sides and not just all the positive things.
You can be critical without being super negative, and that's why I'll be honest, I don't like a lot of the beat reporters on Twitter and the people who like professionally follow the team, because they're just constantly shitting all over the Minnesota Vikings at every single chance they get. And yeah, I get that, like, we're fans, we look at it more from a fan is short for fanatical, and it means that we love the team. So we're going to take more of a homer approach a little bit. But, we are definitely critical of players. We've been very critical of Blair Walsh and Cordero Patterson. And, we were critical of Leslie Frazier and Bill Musgrave and all these other issues that have came up. We were critical of Adrian.
Well, let's focus a little bit too, because
well,
part of the blame for this focus on negativity does go towards readers and listeners.
Mm-hmm.
They click on the articles that are negative, and when I write an article about the Vikings players going to a children's hospital, I'm lucky if I get 400 clicks on it.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People are eating up negativity right now. They want conflict. They want to go into comments. They want to call other people stupid. Why can't fan communities get together?
That's the world we live in. But I think that if more people had your frame of mind in expressing about the topic rather than just doing clickbait and trying to get a story, because that's what media boils down to. And this isn't my opinion. This is fact. Mm-hmm. This is why if you turn on the news, you'll hear more negative things, because that's what gets the ratings up. And the same thing for writing articles online like you do. People like to get a lot of clicks, because clicks mean money and clicks mean exposure. And not that I don't think, if everybody will put their bias aside for whatever topic it is, if you see something good happen, it'll warm your heart. But if you see something bad happening, you just want to go in and tell everyone. And that's how our society is, especially in America now. I want to go in, and this is how I would do it. And it's what gets people talking. Getting people talking, I love. I love to hear people's opinions. But I just don't like the way people go about it these days. And you're right. I think if people were level-headed like you, Adam, and they gave both sides and they gave the whole thing a fighting chance, it would be good. But the problem with America and media and exposure to stories and coverage and all that in the press is they go for the ratings and the clicks rather than presenting.
You don't make money writing those good articles.
No, you don't, and that's the sad part, and that's the blame on us too. If you're going to go out there and click on it, you can't be the one who's complaining about seeing negativity all the time.
I do want to thank the individual that brought that question up last week. I don't have the YouTube handle in front of me, but it was really a nice way. I left a nice long answer to him, and I wanted to discuss it on this week's show, because I do think that it's very important how you portray the team that you love.
Yes.
And we do. All of us here love the Vikings. You guys in the chat, you guys listening at home, in your cars, on your iPods, whatever, you are here listening to this because you love the Vikings.
I'll make a statement. I guarantee you.
An insane attraction to Kyle West, one of the two.
Yeah, you may be, but here's a statement. I guarantee you that we like this team. We love the Vikings more than, say, Chris Tomlinson, who covers the Vikings professionally for, what is that, ESPN 1500. We love the Vikings.
I have no statement on this topic.
I will guarantee that.
But we do have a passion. I think that should show by what we do every week, by my work over on the Viking Age, by how we try to set up that community on the Facebook page and on Twitter. And I know that sometimes we do forget about that because, we do have lives and jobs outside of this, and this is kind of just a hobby. It is. We don't really get paid for doing this. Mm-hmm. We just want to get together and talk about football, and we want to invite you guys to come talk about football with us. So thank you guys for doing this. And I know that sometimes we can get long-winded, and our opinions can be a little stupid sometimes. And you guys can call us out on this. Just express your opinion. We're not going to call you stupid. We're definitely not going to do that. We take all our fans very seriously, because everybody is entitled to their opinion, even if we disagree with it.
And you can ask any one of the guys. I'm usually the first one. I have the Facebook Pages app on my phone. You shoot us a direct message on the podcast page. We'll talk to you. If you have any questions about stuff, don't feel free. Don't think that we're some super football knowledge gods. I mean, we're fans. Adam's probably the smartest one in the group. Kyle's definitely above me. I'm the last person, but I'll get on there and talk about football with you.
Hey, I hop in those DMs sometimes there too.
Slide in those DMs.
Sliding on in.
Anna Kendrick was in my DMs last night in my dream, and I woke up very good.
Now, next week, I don't know if I'm going to be available unless we record a late show, because I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'm going to be taking a 1-week vacation from everything. I ain't doing nothing.
Good.
So
take it. You deserve it.
I'm going to go down to a buddy's wedding down in Kansas City, and then on the way home, the wedding's on Saturday night. On the way home, I'm heading back up to Michigan, and guess what? I'm going through Minneapolis, and I'm stopping and watching the game.
Nice.
I'm so jealous of you. You enjoy yourself, man.
The bad part,
I
the
can't
person I was
wait.
going with dropped out, so now I'm driving the whole way, but I'll get her.
Got to do what you got to do. I can't wait to see what you think of the new stadium, Adam. I've been there. It's super impressive. I loved it. I wish I could go there for a game, so it'll be fun to see what the game time experience is like.
Now, I will be live streaming a little bit, if I have enough battery life on my phone from playing Pokemon. Sorry, guys.
Happens.
But if I just account, I'll do a little bit of live streaming. I'll take some
Hey, out of all the
photos
features,
of the place.
Out of all the features they put into the stadium, do they have like cell phone charging stations?
They've got to have them. They're not going to have them at your seats, but they've got to have them in the lounge of the restaurant.
There's got to be somewhere.
Got to.
I got to stop on the way there and pick up a couple of those little battery pack chargers things on in there.
You can get one. I have one for my phone. I don't know if you have an iPhone, but I know they make them for all. It's about $10. It's one battery, and it's just a little. It looks like a gigantic battery or a small flashlight.
I'm an Android guy. Sorry, man.
No, that's fine. You're wrong.
Get an iPhone.
You're wrong, but
iPhone, you loser.
So you gotta
spend $118 for headphones.
I did that. They came free in the box, sir.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So no, but they have little things you should check out. They'll have them at the gas station for like $10 or $15, but it looks like a little flashlight or something, and it's got two USB ports. I have one. It's a portable thing. It's fantastic. You can take that.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna pick one of those up and take it with me. I think my dad's got one. I don't think he's ever used it, but he found it alongside the road, but it works.
Yeah.
My dad is that kind of guy. He'll find anything. If he sees like something weird shaped on the side of the road, he stops, picks it up, and he's found some pretty good stuff. He's also found a purse full of poop.
Yes, that was mine actually.
Which you don't want to find a purse full of poop on the side of the road.
I'm sorry, it dropped out of the window.
Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
So, I want to get something in there real quick, and I'm done for the show after this. This weekend was the 15th anniversary of 9/11. I was in the 8th grade when it happened. I remember exactly where I was. Shout out to the NFL for doing it right, because Football Sunday kicked off, and at every game that I saw, lots of military members, players, coaches, spouses, friends, family came out. They would stretch the field with an enormous flag. I mean, you guys can see it here. I was in Afghanistan in 2008 into 2009. I'm in the military. It hits home for me. It's one of the reasons that I signed up, and it's one of the reasons I'll do 20 years for my country. I just want to say shout out to the NFL for everybody that did it. I will never comment on this Colin Kaepernick kneeling and whatever stuff, because I have my opinions, you have yours. I don't feel like talking about it. I don't think a platform like that should be used for. If you want to talk about it outside, you can shoot me a message, but I just wanted to take remembrance for all the families that lost someone, everyone that died, everyone that was affected from it, all the first responders, and just to keep it positive at the end of the show. If you have a loved one or someone you care about, always hug their neck when you see them. Check on them more than you don't, and tell them, hey, how are you doing? I just talked to my best friend in the entire world today. He's got a lot of stuff going on. I haven't heard from him in a while, and he's not doing as well as I want him to do. And I was glad to hear from him because of the reminder from 2 days ago. You never know what could happen, and I love to see the positivity. It's one of those heartwarming things. Hearing the anthem, seeing that flag, and hearing the flames go over all the stadiums, it really hit home for me. So, good job remembering a tragic day.
And call your mom. Tell her you love her.
Yes, do that.
Absolutely. Okay, we all went off on a nice little thing there. How about you, Mr. West? You got something?
Nah, I'm good.
All right.
Buy my photos.
Yeah, sure.
Buy my pictures. You can get a framed picture of a squirrel. Get it. Get it now.
You can. I've actually let my with the fridge. I've let my thing lapse for a little bit because I bought my domain name through like another website instead of through Google, and because of that, I'm not showing up through Google. And they're like, "Hey, pay $90 a month for marketing," which is total BS. That runs out in September, and then I can rebuy my domain name through Google, and then guess what? You just show up on it, and people can find you. So right now, if you type it in, I'm not 100% sure where it routes you to, but I will be back in a little bit towards middle of the month with a new redesigned website and whatever to get everything going.
Very cool.
I can buy squirrels in October.
You sure can. Bit of a learning
picture,
experience.
Adrian Peterson picture, get them both.
Yeah, just side by side.
Side by side. That's what it's all about. For me, you already know the Viking Age. That's where you can read my work. I hopefully won't have an article up on there for the next week or so. Regular fans of my work, because I do have some people that read me regularly. I may have noticed that I am not doing my good, bad, interesting reviews anymore. I've decided to cut those out. We have enough people on the staff now to where game reviews are absolutely covered. So now I can cover other news-related topics. I love having more staff on the site. We have a lot of great guys coming in, and we're always looking for more. So if you've got opinions and you can write pretty well, head on over, fill out an application. Same thing with Undead Walking. If you love zombie shows, The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, the Walking Dead comic book series, the toys, conventions, anything, man. There's so much stuff going on in that world. Head on over, check out Undead Walking, and I'd really appreciate that. And if you're a fan of either the Vikings or the Walking Dead, if you could give my stuff a little share on your Facebook or social media, I'd appreciate it. You ain't gotta, of course, but I would appreciate it. And that's all I have for this week. Head on over to our Facebook page, join the conversation. We got @PurplePeoplePod on the Twitter machine. You'll get one of the comments over there.
I don't want the negativity. Hey, be honest.
You gotta take the good with the bad, and we can take some criticism. Just don't say, boy, could you have found two of the ugliest guys on the planet to go alongside Kyle Smith?
Yeah, you say that, I'll come find you and punch you in the face.
Come on, this is the face that only my mother could love sometimes.
I like my social media rant. I'm always up for open discussion, but when people are just negative for negativity's sake, like what you guys said earlier, I really don't have time to that, and I don't respond to that. I know a lot of other professional writers seem to only respond to the negative people. I don't want to do that.
No, we're here for football discussions.
Yep.
And I'll talk about zombies and stuff too if you want to hit me up at MNVikingZombie. Kind of fits in pretty well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Facebook, Twitter. Make sure you're taking care of your league in the fantasy in the Yahoo Survival League. Make sure you're doing that. Otherwise, that's all I got for you. And stay classy, Minnesota.